sure how to do that. But I did want to share, this is an excerpt from Seamus Heaney, who's an Irish poet. This is an excerpt from a translation, adaptation of The Cure at Troy, which was a play written by Sophocles. And it was actually quoted by Biden, who's Irish, yes, when he accepted the Democratic nomination for president. And man, when I read this, it really spoke to me, and I just wanted to share it with you. It says, "History says don't hope on this side of the grave. History says don't hope on this side of the grave. But then, once in a lifetime, the longed-for tidal wave of justice can rise up, and hope and history rhyme." I'm going to read that one more time. History says don't hope on this side of the grave. But then, once in a lifetime, the longed-for tidal wave of justice can rise up, and hope and history rhyme. And a beautiful thing about that particular passage is that in the play, it's recited by a whole chorus of people, not just one person. And so I would love for us to collectively set as our intention for practice hope and healing for our country. So will you find your seat? And you can let your eyes close, tuning into your breath. And taking the first few moments here in grounded stillness, feeling this solid ground beneath you in this moment, and that steady presence of your breath. And maybe this morning you can breathe a little bit deeper. You can expand that capacity for your breath. And filling up the lungs and exhaling out completely so that you're all the way empty. And in this moment, just feeling into the body, you might take just a little inventory and notice where you might be holding tension, or where you might be feeling stuck or sore, or maybe even injured. And can you really direct the breath to these areas in the body? And again, cultivating this energy and intention around hope and healing. And we can start here in our own physical body. And on your next in-breath, go ahead and lift up through your heart just a little bit. Roll your shoulders back, expand and open the front body. And then as you exhale, go ahead and tuck through your tailbone and round your spine. Lean back a little bit, chin to chest. And inhale, shoulders back, lift and open through the heart. And exhale, tuck through your tailbone and round your spine. And just continue to move back and forth with this steady presence and wave of your breath. Good. And then I would encourage you to start moving a little bit differently in a way that feels good to you. So maybe side to side or in a big circle, feeling into your breath and your body. Good. Nice. And there's no rush, but when you're ready, let's go ahead and transition forward to the hands and the knees and continue this movement through cat-cow. So on the in-breath, a little lift of the tailbone opening through the heart. And on exhale, tuck through the tail, round your spine. Inhale to open. And exhale to round. Good. One more like that. Inhale. And then this time as you exhale, I'd like for you to sit all the way into child's pose for a few breaths. So if you sit all the way back toward the heels of your feet, let your forehead rest on the earth, feeling the ground beneath you. Taking a couple more breaths here in your grounded child's pose. Opening up the lower back and the hips. And then on your next in-breath, let's make our way back up to hands and knees. And tuck the toes under, lift the knees off of the mat, making our way into our first downward facing dog of practice. And so take some time here to shift and move and feel the ground with your hands and your feet. Keep your breath steady and full and present in the body. Noticing how your breath manifests in your body, and maybe allowing your body physically to respond to that, to respond to each inhale and each exhale. Good. Taking one more full breath here, a little lift up through the tailbone, through the sits bones. Bend your knees and look forward. Take a step or light hop forward toward the top of your mat. Lengthen out your spine on your in-breath, so you lift to a halfway lift, extending your spine. Exhale, fold, bring it back in. Good, again like that. Inhale, extend forward. And exhale, fold. Good. Hang out here for just a couple of breaths. Relaxing through the neck. Maybe shake your head no, or nod your head yes. Just allowing the pull of gravity to take you a little bit deeper into this fold. Not a lot of efforting on your part. Take one more here. Feeling your feet on the ground, let's go ahead and make our way all the way up to standing. So root down, stretch and lengthen up through the arms, reach. And then exhale, hands together, heart center. Inhale, take the arms back up, extend and lengthen, reaching tall. Exhale, dive forward and fold. Uttanasana, relax your head and your neck. Halfway lift on the in-breath, lengthen. And then let's take our hands down to the floor, step our way to plank, upper push-up. Strong and rooted, push the ground away. Strong through the legs, lifted through your core. Take another full breath here, building a little bit of heat in the body. And then go ahead and lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Come all the way down to the belly. Slide your forearms forward for a Sphinx pose. So a little modified cobra here, taking the elbows forward a little bit in front of the shoulders, and then pulling the rib cage and the chest forward. Create a little bit of traction here, especially in the low back. And then exhale, bring it back down, slide your hands back. You can press up to hands and knees or plank, and then all the way back to downward facing dog. And hang out here for a couple of breaths. Good. Bend your knees and look forward. Step or hop lightly to the top of the mat. Flat back as you inhale, extend your spine. Exhale, fold. Back up to standing on in-breath, so root to rise, stretch up, lift through the heart. Exhale, hands together, heart center. Good, you guys, let's do that much again. Inhale, stretch up, moving maybe just a little bit faster this time. Exhale, forward fold. Please go at your pace. Flat back on in-breath, lengthen, halfway lift. Plant your hands, you can step or hop it back this time, moving through your chaturanga, lower down. Inhale into your cobra, sphinx or up dog, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Lifting the hips up. Good, breathe here. Good. Nice. Okay, whenever you guys need the heater on, you gotta let Kathy know, and she'll... Or maybe we'll just hold dolphin for as long as it takes. All right, take another breath here. Good, you guys, bend your knees and look forward. Take a step or hop forward, top of the mat. Lengthen out your spine on your in-breath, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Perfect. All the way back up to standing. Stretch up, reaching as tall as you can. Exhale, hands together, heart center. Good. Bend your knees and sit into a chair pose, Utkatasana. And let's breathe here in some of this heat and efforting strong through your legs and your core. Think about your tail and your sits bones pulling back just a little bit more and sitting deeper into this chair. 2 more breaths. You're welcome to bend your elbows or modify the arms in a way that suits you. Exhale, dive forward and fold. Good. Halfway lift on the in-breath. Lengthen. And then take our hands down to the ground, step or hop it back. You can move through your chaturanga or skip it. It's up to you. Cobra or up dog. Downward facing dog on exhale. Perfect. Take your right leg, reach it back behind you and up toward the ceiling. And just get a sense here, your hands rooting down, lengthening through that leg. See if you might draw your left heel just a little bit closer to the ground. Staying strong through your core. Let's go ahead and walk the left hand back to about the middle of the mat. And maybe that's where you stay. A little variation of 3-legged down dog. Good. Maybe you work with a teeter-totter, taking the left hand away from the ground and hugging it alongside the body. A couple more breaths here. It's okay to wobble. Nice, you guys. Left hand back to the mat. Now, pull your right knee in toward your chest. Lift through your core, around your spine a little bit, and then take your leg back behind you, reach it up. Good. Move with your breath. Exhale, pull that right knee in, strong and lift it. Inhale, take the leg back one last time. Exhale, pull that knee in and step it all the way through. Drop down to your back knee. And bring your hands up to your right thigh. Good. Squaring off the hips here. Lengthening through the spine. Let's take the arms up. Reaching up tall. Fingertips to sky. Tailbone drawing down. Bend your elbows here. And for the next couple of breaths, you might draw deeper into that lunge and turn the heart more open. Try to pull the lowest tips of your shoulder blades toward one another on your back. Last breath here. And then re-extend the arms up. Exhale, hands down. Now listen carefully. Pick up your back knee and step forward to standing split. So your left leg floats up as high as you can go. Use blocks here if you'd like. Folding over your right leg. Feel your right foot on the ground. Maybe take your right hand and forearm behind your calf and fold it in. For a little extra challenge, maybe take your left hand off of the mat and back behind your calf as well. Little balance challenge. Make sure you're breathing. Take one more here. Float your left leg a little higher. Both hands to the ground. Now pull your left knee in toward your chest and place your foot down to the ground. Take your feet a little bit wider. Maybe turn your toes out some and bend your knees coming into malasana, into a squat pose. And you can always sit on a block for this or keep your heels lifted, but we're squeezing the knees around the outsides of the arms. Palms come together. Try to pull your chest toward your thumbs and the thumbs toward your chest. Breathing down into the hips, into the pelvis, hip flexors, and low back. Good. And we're going to transition from this pose into crow, okay, or bakasana. So the knees are already more or less where they should be on the arms. We're going to bring the hands to the ground out in front of us. Maybe pull your knees up a little higher and start to shift your weight from your feet into your hands. And you can pull one foot up at a time, if you'd like. Play around with your balance. Good. Now we're going to make our way back to plank pose. You can step or you can jump it back. I can't really talk at the same time when I do that. Cobra or up dog, and then downward facing dog. So let's all meet back up in downward dog. And extending your left leg back behind you. Reach it up, three-legged downward dog. Feel both hands on the ground. Strong and lifted through your core. Good. Now, let's try to walk the right hand back to about the middle of the mat. You can keep it there, or maybe come up onto the pads of the fingers, or take your right hand away. Try to anchor down through your right foot. Take 2 more breaths here in this balance. Good, you guys. And now right hand comes back to the mat. And then you're going to pull your left knee in toward the chest. Lift through the belly, round your spine. Inhale the leg back, reach it up. And exhale, pull that knee in. Good. One more of these. Take the leg back, reach it up. And then exhale, knee in. Step your foot all the way through. Come down to your right knee. Start with the hands on the thigh. So lengthening through your spine and your torso. Extend the arms up as you're ready. So fingertips reach up and tail down, lengthening through the upper body. Bend your elbows here. And again, maybe you draw a little bit deeper into that lunge and turn the chest more open. Try to pull the lowest tips of your shoulder blades toward one another for one more breath. And then re-extend. Bring the hands down to the ground. You'll pick up your back knee and step forward to standing splits. So feeling your left foot on the ground here. You can use blocks, or maybe you take your left hand and forearm back behind your calf and really start to fold it in. And you might be able to take your right hand away and bring it behind the calf. 2 more breaths here. Try to float that right leg up a little higher. Good, you guys. Both hands to the floor. Pull your right knee in toward your chest. Step your right foot down next to your left. Once again, take your feet a little wider. Malasana. Drop down, drop the hips down, knees around the outsides of your arms, palms together. Pulling your chest toward the thumbs and the thumbs toward the chest. Take 2 more breaths here. Good. And then 1 more crow pose, Bakasana. So you're going to shift your weight from your feet into your hands. Hands go to the top of the mat. Pull the hips up. You might need to readjust just a little bit. Balancing your knees on your upper arms toward triceps or armpits. Good. Use your core. Look forward a little bit. Float your feet off of the mat. Now this time I want you to try the jump back into chaturanga or the belly flop, either one. I'm just going to watch you guys till everybody does it. Good job. Okay. Oh, you guys already did it perfectly? Okay. Nice. How about everybody at home? Did you all do it perfectly? Put a comment and let me know that you did it on Facebook Live. What? Did you guys have a coffee break? Okay. I wish I could see into their world. All right. Go back to downward facing dog. And let's take the right leg back. Reach it up. And this time we're going to bend the right leg and open up through the hip. Good, you guys. Again, try to ground that left heel as you open that right knee out to the right. And then let's step the right foot through, setting up for a warrior 2 position. Hips open, right knee centered over the ankle, extending out through the arms. Good. Rooting down firmly with both feet, shoulders soft away from the ears. Let's turn the palms up if you haven't already. Put a slight bend in your elbows, lifting up through the chest. Good. Your next exhale, arms come down. Clasp your hands behind you, setting up for ostrich pose or humble warrior. So you'll pull your shoulders back and lead with your heart as you dive forward, right shoulder toward the inside of that right knee. Root with your left foot at the back of your mat and breathe here into your shoulders and into your hips. Good. 2 more full breaths here. Release your clasp and bring your hands down to the ground. I'd like for you to walk your hands over to the left. So now everybody should be facing the coffee shop side of the room. Feet parallel. Take an inhale and lengthen out your spine, and then exhale, fold. Deep, deep breaths here. Lengthening through your neck here, allowing the crown of the head to draw just a little bit closer to the floor. Feel the ground through the inner and outer edges of your feet. And then let's lengthen to that halfway lift as you inhale. Exhale, hands to hips. And inhale all the way back up to standing. Awesome, you guys. Turn the right toes back forward. And angle those back toes a little bit forward as well. Extend back out through the arms. Triangle pose. Reach forward and bring that right hand down toward the shin or block or ankle. And reach those left fingertips up toward the ceiling. Feel for each and every breath, creating a little more space along the ribs, between the ribs, along your spine and torso. For the last couple of breaths, take your left arm and stretch it forward alongside your ear. Pull back a little bit with your left hip and reach through the left fingertips. Take one more breath here. Left arm goes straight up and then behind the back, opening the shoulder. Gaze down at the floor. Ardha Chandrasana or half moon. So standing balance, you're going to shift forward into your right foot, strong through your right leg. Take a block with you if you'd like underneath the right fingertips. And then extend your left arm straight up if you haven't already. Straight up toward the ceiling. Put energy in your left leg. Reach toward the back of the room. Lift your leg up a little higher. Bend your left leg. Maybe reach back and find your foot for half bow. This is not required, it's just an option. You can put a little bend in your standing leg. Take 2 more breaths. Nice, Jen. Great job, you guys. And then release on out of that. Bring it all the way back. Step back to a lunge. Good. Center that right knee over the ankle. Left hand to the ground. Stretch that right arm up for a twist. Twisting lunge. You can always ground your back knee, or if you want to keep that back knee lifted, you could take it a step further, coming into prayer twist, hooking your left elbow over to the outside of that right knee. A couple more breaths here. Push with that right foot, strong and lifted through your back leg. Take another breath. And right hand back to the ground. Now you're going to stretch your right leg straight back, 3-legged plank. So right leg is lifted and parallel with the ground. You can always come down to that back knee, the left knee for support. Take 2 more breaths here. And then exhale, lower down that 3-legged chaturanga. Both feet to the floor. Inhale, cobra or up dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Whew. Who needs the heater? I think we're doing just fine. All right, come down to your knees. Dolphin. So forearms to the floor. Forearms parallel, shoulder width apart, where you always have that option of clasping your hands. Let your head and your neck relax. Pick up your knees. Don't let your elbows splay out. Keep them reined in. So imagine you're hugging around like a block or a medicine ball with your forearms. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. Maybe tiptoe a little bit toward the face. Imagine getting pulled from your belly, the navel pulling up and back toward your spine. See if you can find a little more space between the hips and the ribs. Take 2 more breaths here. Good, you guys. Last full breath. A little more length, and then come on down to your knees and child's pose. Good. One more full breath here. Just appreciating this moment of rest and ground and stability. And then make your way back up to your hands and your knees. And all the way back to downward facing dog. Feel the hands root down, lifting up through the hips. Draw length along your spine. And then sending the left leg back, reach it up, long and lengthened. And continue to draw your right heel down as you bend your left leg and lift and open up through the hip. Couple breaths here. Good. And then left foot steps all the way through for that warrior two. So feeling into the ground through the soles of the feet, stretching and lengthening out through the arms. And so in this warrior pose in particular, we're balancing effort and ease, right? So feeling an engagement and a strength in the lower body and the core, but a fullness of breath and a relaxing through the shoulders. So go ahead and turn the palms up. That might help you draw the shoulders a little bit away from the ears. Take another strong breath here. And then as you exhale, arms come down, clasping the hands behind you. Take a breath to pull the shoulders back and lift the chest. Leading with the heart, dive forward and fold, ostrich or humble warrior. Feet grounded, stable. A little bit of that lift through your core. Continue to pull the thighs back and relax your head down. Good. Take one more breath here. We're going to go ahead and release the clasp and bring the hands down and walk the hands over toward the right side of the room. Spin your feet so all 10 toes face that same direction. Flat back as you inhale, lengthen out your spine. Exhale, fold. So again, deep, deep breaths here in this wide straddle. Prasarita Padottanasana. Maybe unweight your hands and clasp your hands behind you this time around, or reach for your big toes. You've got a few different options here. Deep, steady breath. Good. Your next inhale, flat back, lengthen out. Anchor your feet, exhale, hands to hips, and then inhale all the way up to standing. Turning the left toes forward, re-extending the arms, coming into triangle. So push with your back foot, reach forward and create that length. Bring the left hand down toward the shin or the ankle or the block. Right arm stretches up toward the ceiling. Feel your breath along your torso, between your ribs, along your spine. Each breath an opportunity to create space. Your right arm will stretch forward alongside your ear. Reach through your right fingertips as you pull your right hip back a little bit, away from the ribs and the shoulder. Beautiful job. Last breath here. Right arm goes back up and then behind the back, opening the shoulder. Gaze down at the floor, coming into Ardha Chandrasana, half moon pose. Root down through that left foot, strong through your standing leg. Maybe extend your right arm up toward the ceiling if you haven't already. Breathe here. And if you'd like to, bend your right leg, reach back and find your foot coming into half bow. Notice what's going on with the quality of your breath. Take 2 more here. Good, nice. Release out of that. Hands down, step it back to your lunge, and you will take a twist. So your right hand stays down, the left arm reaches up. You can always come down to that back knee for a bit of support. Or you can keep that knee lifted and take your right elbow over to the left knee and come into that prayer twist. 2 more breaths here in your twisting lunge. Good. Unwind out of that, you guys, hands to the ground. Now, extend your left leg straight back, 3-legged plank. Hold this. Again, you can come down to that right knee if that's a better option. Take another breath, reach through your back toes, forward through the crown. Exhale, lower down, 3-legged chaturanga. Inhale to your cobra or upward dog, and then downward facing dog on the exhale. Good work. All right, come down to your knees. Dolphin take 2. Down to the forearms. So we're going to work with extending a leg up. 1 leg up at a time. So go ahead and set up your foundation, the forearms parallel, or clasp your hands. Relax your head. Pick up your knees. Keep that foundation, that rooted position with your arms. Tiptoe forward toward your face. Stretch your right leg up. Reaching through the toes. For a little extra challenge, you might look at the ground between your forearms and do a little hop. Hop or 2 toward forearm balance. Good. All right, right foot back to the floor. If you need to take a break in between, you can. Otherwise, take your left leg up. Reach and lengthen through your toes. Maybe look at the ground and do a little hop or 2. Good, you guys. Take 1 more breath in dolphin, both feet on the ground. And exhale, knees down. Whew, child's pose. Take another breath here. And then make your way back up to your hands and your knees. Walk your hands over to your left, maybe even off of your mat, okay? And pull your hips back and to the right. So you're really targeting the right arm and shoulder, ribs, and side body. Little crescent-shaped child's pose. Good, and then back up, and let's walk the hands over to the right. So same thing, just the other side. Pull your hips back. Good, and then make your way back up. And bring your hands back to center, and then back to your downward facing dog. Hips lift up. Good. Stretch your right leg back again. Reach it up. Bend your leg. Lift and open through your hip. And take your right knee
and cross it over to your left elbow. So you're coming into a little twisting plank pose. You're going to do that a couple more times just to build a little more heat. Bend your leg and open, lift your hip. And then right knee touches left elbow. See if you can actually touch your elbow with your knee. Last one of these, take the leg up, bend your leg, lift and open your hip. Good. Knee to elbow. Hold there. And then take your leg through into pigeon. And stretch your left leg back behind. Lifting up through your heart, through your chest. Walk your hands forward and fold. You can always recline onto your back and take reclined pigeon, figure 4, this position like this. Or you could come to your upright position and take a fire log or double pigeon pose. I think we might be ready for more heat. What do you guys think? Yeah? Actually, you know what, Kathy? I can. Because you can hang out in pigeon. Hang out in pigeon. Hang out in pigeon, people. Oh, okay. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to, just hang out. You can switch sides. Whenever you're ready, switch sides. I'll be right back. Okay, so those of you that switched sides, did you remember to do the knee to elbow? Promise, Amy? Okay. Okay, so other side, if you haven't already, I'll talk you through it. Left leg in the air, bend your leg and open. Left knee over to right elbow. And do that a couple more times on your honor. Open the hip, knee to elbow. And last one of these, open. Try to touch your knee to your elbow and then set up for your pigeon. Lifting up a little bit through your chest, torso, bring it forward. Okay, a couple more breaths here. Let's make our way back up. Bring your back leg around and make your way onto your backs and hug your knees in toward your chest. Rock side to side. And then bring the soles of the feet to the ground, setting up for a bridge pose. All right, so the feet parallel, heels of your feet underneath your knees. Bend your elbows so the fingertips point up toward the ceiling. We're going to work with some little bridge sit-ups. So before you lift your pelvis, push with your elbows and your upper arms. Lift your chest up. Try to puff up the heart. And then keep your chest lifted, strong through your legs and rooted through your feet. Lift up through your pelvis as high as you can go without sinking through your heart. And then lower your pelvis back down. Keep those mid to upper back muscles engaged, your chest lifted. And then push with your feet, lift back up through your hips. So this should feel pretty challenging. Keeping the heart lifted and open, lower back down with your hips. Do this a couple more times on your own. These little bridge sit-ups. And then when you come back up into bridge, you're going to hold this for about 5 breaths, 5 to 10 breaths. Now, arms can stay like a robot, or maybe you clasp your hands underneath you. Imagine you had a block between your thighs, and maybe you shimmy your shoulders and shoulder blades a little bit closer to one another. Root down, lift up, expand and lift through your chest. Take a couple more breaths here, everybody. And whenever you're ready, release and lower the spine back down to the floor. Hug your knees in toward your chest. Rock side to side. Move your feet a little bit away from your chest, and knees away from your chest. Pick up your feet so the shins are parallel with the ground. And I want you to push on your thighs, like you're trying to push your thighs away from the body, and then resist that by engaging your core and pushing your thighs back into your hands, connecting to abdominals. Maybe feeling that low back on the ground. Interlace the fingers now behind the back of the head, the base of your skull. Take a full breath in. Exhale, lift head and shoulder blades away from the floor. Tuck through your tailbone, pull belly down. Exhale, right elbow to left knee and straighten the right leg out toward like a 45-degree angle toward the front of the room. Tuck your tailbone, pull your elbow closer to your knee, and hug your belly down. Bring it back to center, and take your left elbow towards your right knee. Straighten out the left leg, active through the toes. You're going to stay here for an extra breath. Tuck your tailbone, elbow closer to the knee, pull belly down. Back to center. Exhale, right elbow to left knee, straighten out the right leg, reach through your foot, tuck your tailbone, elbow closer to the knee, pull belly down. Back to center, left elbow to right knee, straighten out that left leg, reach, fire up that leg, tuck your tailbone, elbow closer to the knee, pull belly down. Stick with me, you guys, one more round, back to center, right elbow, left knee, straighten out that right leg, reach, active toes, tuck tailbone, elbow closer to the knee, pull navel to spine, back to center, last one, left elbow, right knee, reach through your left toes, tuck tail, elbow closer, pull belly down, back to center, and release. Woo. Bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees open out wide, Supta Baddha Konasana. Let the body rest here for a few breaths, maybe letting your hands rest on your belly. without judgment, without attachment, just allow the body to feel. And whenever you're ready, I'd like for you to take both knees over to your right, coming into a spinal twist. It can be your spinal twist of choice. If there's a particular version that works better for you, you can cross your left leg over your right, or right leg over your left, or have your knees together. Good. Bless you. Bring your knees back to center and just take them over to your left. So same pose, just other side. Bless you. And when you feel pretty even on those two sides, will you bring the knees back in and stretch your legs out to the floor. Reach your arms up and back alongside your ears. And just let your arms relax down along your sides as you arrange for Shavasana, corpse pose.
History says, don't hope on this side of the grave. But then, once in a lifetime, the longed for tidal wave of justice can rise up, and hope and history rhyme. You begin to feel into your breath and your body here resting in Shavasana, corpse pose. And you can start to introduce a little bit of movement and deeper breath into the body. Coming over to your side, fetal position. And all the way back up to your seat. And on your next in-breath, go ahead and reach the arms up, lengthen. Exhale, hands together at the heart. With this offering of hope and healing, we finish our practice together with one round of Om, taking a full breath in. Beautiful practice, everybody. Namaste.